Hello, how do I fill out Form 941 if no wages were paid in 2024 quarter 2? First, it will be a good idea to go on irs.gov and you can just type Form 941 or 941 and you will download Form 941 to save. You download the instructions for Form 941 to save as well. So now we have Form 941 for 2024 open. We have the instructions as well open. On the Form 941, you'll enter your business EIN, and your business EIN will be the EIN that is specifically for the business you are filing for. And here we are just going to put XXS in it. Name, now your trade name. Under the name section, you'll put your business name exactly the way it is on the EIN application form that you file for the business to request an EIN number from IRS. So you make sure you put your business legal name under the in the SS for the letter you got from the IRS when you got EIN. That name will be on it. Or if you have a copy of the EIN application form, you will find it under legal name. If you are a sole proprietor, it will be your name as well. But just look for your business EIN application form that you have in your record, or the SS4 that you receive from IRS when you apply for the EIN number, to find that legal name. And if somebody is filing the business for you, is filing Form 941 for you, make sure they are entering your business name accurately. So in this example, we can put and I just have the cap on so that everything is capitalized on the form. Trade name. If you have trade name, you use it. If you don't, you just leave it like that. In this example, I'm going to add Nina Soap, and then you'll add your address name where you run your business. And you add the city, you add the state, and then you add the zip code. Now that you got that table completed, you will go to the right side of the form. You will check the box for the quarter you are filing for. Form 941 is a quarterly tax return, and in a year you have 4 quarters. Therefore, you will file this form 4 times unless your business is new and started after a certain quarter passed already. That makes sense. So the following quarters you'll file for it. So we have the 4 quarters listed here, and those are the when the quarter ended. Therefore, it is due by the end of the following month. So we are in July and we are going to file for quarter 2. So quarter 2 is April, May, June, Quarter 2 end in June, and Form 941 is due by July 31st. So we are going to check quarter 2. So when you are filing, you will make sure you check the appropriate quarter you are filing for. And remember, you do not check all those quarters on one form. You will file the number of quarters that you want to file for on separate Form 941 and check the appropriate quarter that form is for. At least that is my understanding of the form. If you do not have employees or you didn't pay wages, let's say you are an LLC as an S Corp and you are the only one working in the business and you own the business, you are an employee of the business of your S Corp, LLC as an S Corp. If you didn't pay yourself any wages, it's as good as you didn't have employees in the business. Therefore, you are going to file a return with like no employee or no wages were paid. So if you do not have wages, you didn't pay wages during the quarter, you are still required to file the return. In that case, you might want to read the title as well. The lines that are $0 or 0, you leave them blank, to the exception of line 1, line 2, and line 12. Line 12, total tax after adjustment and non-refundable credit. To make sure we are accurate with that assumption, we'll go to the form, to the instruction. That's why it's good to have the instruction on hand. And let's just scroll it to probably page 4 or so. So leave blank any data field except line 1, 2, and 12 with value of 0. Okay. And while we are here, we know yours is not going to have any dollar amount on it, but it's still good to know that you do not round on Form 941 to the whole dollars. It's good to show the cents even if that's 0. So now we'll come back to the form. So part 1, Form 941, part 1, number of employees who receive wages, tips, or other compensation for the pay period. And in here, we are going to say 0 because no one receive wages, or you have 0 employee, or it is yourself but you didn't collect any wages. Therefore, it's 0. It again is number of employees for the quarter you are filing for. Line 2, wages, tips, and other compensation. So we are going to put 0, 0, 0. Federal income tax withheld is blank, is $0, therefore we'll leave it blank. If no wages, tips, or other compensation are subject to Social Security or Medicaid, you check that box and you just leave line 5 alone and go to line 6. So line 6, total tax before adjustment will be to total line 3, federal income tax withheld, line 5 all the way, and it is 0. Therefore, we leave it blank. Remember, line 1, 2, and 12 are where we will put zeros. If everything is $0, we just leave them blank to the section of line 1, 2, and 12. Line 7, current quarter adjustment for fraction cents, we leave a blank. Line 8, current quarter adjustment for sick pay, we leave a blank. Line 9, adjustment for tips and group term life insurance, we leave a blank if it is blank for you, if it's $0. Total tax after adjustment, line 6 all the way to line 9 combined is $0 for us, we leave a blank. Line 11, qualify small business payroll tax credit for increasing research activity. If you think that is related to your business, monitoring the instruction related to line 11, and you might have to file Form 8974. In this instance, we are going to assume it is not related, therefore we are not claiming any credit there, therefore we are going to leave a blank. Line 12, total tax after adjustment and non-refundable credits. Line 9 will be that non-refundable credit. So total tax after adjustment and non-refundable credit. So it's going to take line 10 minus line 11. So because line 10 is the total tax from the top all the way minus that non-refundable credit, small business payroll tax credits, and you'll find line 12. So since line 10 is 0, line 11 is 0, line 12 will be 0. So we are going to put $0, 0 cents. Remember, you do not put the dollar sign, and that cents that is already there for you. So you just put your 0, and on the cent side, you put your 0 there as well. Line 13, total deposit for this quarter, including overpayment applied from a prior quarter. So if you didn't make any deposit for the quarter, and there is no, since you don't owe anything here, there is no overpayment that you want to apply to it. So we are going to leave line 13 as a $0, so blank. Line 14, balance due. So line 12 and line 13. So line 13, you do subtraction between line 12 and line 13. So in this case, both are 0. Therefore, your line 14 will be 0. You do not owe anything. Line 15, overpayment, the same way. So if line 12 is more than line 13, the deposits, then there is a balance, you will go on line 14. But if line 12 is less than line 13, your deposit, if the total tax is less than the deposit, then you have overpayment. They will give you a refund, or you can request to be applied to another quarter. It will go on line 15. But in your case, where line 12 is 0, line 13 is 0, line 14 will be 0. So is either the difference between line 12 and line 13 will go either on line 14 or on line 15, not both at the same time. So and then if there is an overpayment, you'll check to receive a tax return, to receive a refund, or to be applied toward the next quarter for you. But in this case, we are not going to check anything because there is no overpayment and there is nothing to request a refund for. So that is page 1 of Form 941. You'll go to page 2. Page 2, the top, you make sure you put your legal name as the way you put it on the first page. And in this example, we are going to use Liberman Consulting, and we will use the EIN number just the way we enter on the first page. Form 941 Part 2. If you are unsure about whether you are a monthly scheduled depositor or a semi-weekly scheduled depositor, you can read more about it on Publication 15, Section 11. Line 16. So since you didn't pay any wages, you will fall under the first box. Line 12 on this return, that again is the total tax. So line 12, total tax after adjustment. If line 12 on this return is less than 2,500, or line 12 on the return for the prior quarter was less than 2,500 and you didn't incur $100,000 next day deposit obligation during the current quarter, that is the scenario where you check line the first box of line 16. So if line 12 for the prior quarter was less than 2,500, but line 12 on this return is $100,000 or more, you must provide a record of your federal tax liability. If you are a monthly depositor, complete the deposit schedule below. That will be the second box. If you are a semi-weekly scheduled depositor, attach Schedule B. And I have a video on how to determine whether you are a monthly scheduled depositor or a semi-weekly scheduled depositor. So in this case though, since your line 12 is $0, that means you fall under the first box where your line 12 is less than 2,500. Part 3. Tell us about your business. So if a question does not apply to your business, leave a blank. So line 17. If your business has closed or you stop paying wages, check here. So we will come back and read a little bit about that. But in this example, we are assuming the business is still functioning. So we are going to leave that alone. And then you enter the last day you pay wages and you attach an attachment to the return. Line 18, if you are a seasonal employer and you don't have to file a return every quarter, you check here. So we will come back and read more about it in the instruction. Part 4. May we speak with a third-party designee? It's up to you. If somebody prepared the return for you, you can check yes if you want them to ask questions about the return, but it's just going to be about that return. But if you want every question to be sent your way, then you just check no. So in this scenario, we are just going to check no. Part 5 is where you are going to sign. So we are going to a little bit read the instruction on how or who is supposed to sign this document. So what you'll do is you'll print your name, and here we are just going to put example of name here, and then you'll print your title and you'll put your phone number and when you print it out, you sign it, you date it, and you make a copy for your business record as well. If you are filing the Form 941 for your own business, you leave the pay preparer use section alone. If you are filing it for your business is not paying you to file the return, you leave this section alone. If you are filing it for a client and the client is going to pay you for it, then you are a pay preparer and you will complete this section with your name, your firm, your tax preparation firm name, and then the address. You'll put your P10, that's a tax preparer number, If you are self-employed, you will check it. Otherwise, you leave that alone. You put your business EIN number, your phone, and the address is all the way here. But then after you print the record out, you make a copy. The business owner will sign it and date it. You sign it as well, you date it. You make a copy for your business record. You make a copy for the client's business record, and the original the client will mail it to IRS, unless you mail it on the client's behalf. And you are just done completing your Form 941. There is Form 941 voucher at the end of the form, and you are not going to complete the voucher because you do not owe any money that you need to make payments with the Form 941. So that will impact where you will mail your Form 941. So where do you mail Form 941 without a payment? You will go to the instructions for Form 941 2024, page 7, and we are going to scroll to the bottom. I wish they should have put the title on the next column. It will work great. But you locate your states, and then under the column without a payment, you choose the address that corresponds to the row your state is located on. So you write that address on the envelope, and you put your Form 941, the 2 pages, you staple them and put them on in the envelope, seal it, and mail it via USPS with a tracking number, so that you have the receipt and the tracking to keep with the copy you made for the business record. So in this example, again, without a payment is the first column. After the state, the first column is without a payment. Or if we say we have 3 columns here, that will be the second column. So without a payment column, you will copy the address from under the column without a payment that corresponds to the state your business is located in. That is the address you will put on the envelope to mail your Form 941 to. Just make sure you are using the right instruction that is related to the form for the year you are filing for, because the address could change. And this instruction is for 2024, and we are filing for 2024. Thank you. So now let's go read a little bit about if your business is closed. You'll find the instruction on it on page 5 of Form 941 instruction. So and before we read that, let's go a little bit down so that you can read it as well. So what if you reorganize or close your business? So if you sell or transfer your business, and it could be reorganizing, could be you change the entity of the business. It's now an LLC, or it's not an S corp, it became a sole proprietor, or vice versa. You change the business structure. So if you sell or transfer your business during the quarter, you and the new owner must each file a Form 941 for the quarter in which the transfer occurred. Report only the wages you paid. When two businesses merge, the continuing firm must file a return for the quarter in which the change took place, and the other firm should file a final return. So that final return will prompt you to check that box 17. Changing from one form of business to another, such as from a sole proprietor to a partnership, or corporation, is considered a transfer. If a transfer occurred, you may need a new EIN. You can check Publication 1635 and Section 1 of Publication 15 for more information. Attach a statement to your return. And for those publications, when you Google it the way we Google Form 941, now when you Google it, you go to irs.gov and you tap that publication in the search bar the way we tap 941 in the search bar. You should be able to find those publications. Attach a statement to your return with a new owner's name or the new name of the business. Whether the business is now a sole proprietor, a partnership, or a corporation, you need to mention that on this attachment as well. The kind of change that occur, was it a sale or a transfer? You will mention it in the attachment. The date of the change, you make sure you mention that, and the name of the person keeping the payroll record and the address where those records will be kept, meaning up to that change, who is going to keep those previous payroll documents. You need to mention that person's name and the address where those records will be kept. And that is for reorganizing and a transfer. So if your business has closed, so how do you proceed if you close your business? If you permanently go out of business or stop paying wages to your employees, you must file a final return. Again, what tells IRS that you are filing a final return could be to check that line 7, to check the box 17, to add the dates and then add that attachment that is required from you. To tell the IRS that Form 941 of a particular quarter is your final return, check the box on line 17 and enter the final date you paid wages. Also, attach a statement to your return showing the name of the person keeping the payroll record and the address where those records will be kept. Just know that that attachment, you will need to add your business name and EIN on it as well, and the section of Form 941 that attachment is related to, and in this case is going to be line 17. So, and then they have, so see terminating a business in the general instruction for Form W2 and W3 for information about earlier dates for the expedited finishing and filing of W2 when a final Form 941 is filed. And I believe when a final Form 941 is filed, you might have to file an early W-2 and W-3. But again, when you open the general instruction, when you pull from W-2, W-3 in irs.gov search bar, you pull that instruction out, you read through it, you'll be able to find information related to it. Under terminating a business session. If your business has closed or stopped paying wages, you'll check that box. You'll enter the final date that you pay wages and you add an attachment. And that attachment will include your business name, your business EIN, the Form 941, the year it is that Form 941 is for, and the quarter you are filing for. Those will be on the attachment as well, and you can add the line that's the information you are providing on the attachment. You can add the line that information is related to, and that will be line 17 of Form 941. So now that we talk a little bit about in which case you will check line 17, let's see in which case we will check line 18 or box 18. And when you are reading through the instruction, it's good to highlight those areas that you want to come back and read about, so that they can jump at you when you start filing the return, and if there is a line that you want to read the instruction about, you can quickly find it. So after you file your first 941, you must file a return for each quarter. After you file your first 941, you must file a return for each quarter, even if you have no taxes to report, unless you file a final return or one of the following exceptions listed next applies. So under the exception, if you receive a letter from IRS saying to start filing Form 944, then you will file 944 at the end of the year and you stop filing 941 quarterly. If you are a seasonal employer, so seasonal employers don't have to file a Form 941 for quarters in which they have no tax liability. And that is a reason why box 18 will be checked. So to tell the IRS that you won't file a return for one or more quarters during the year, check box on line 18 every quarter you file Form 941. So what will happen is, if you think there are some quarters that you do not have employees, you will check box 18. So that tells IRS that there is a possibility that the following quarter you may not file if you didn't have employees. But at the same time, you will check the quarter that form you check that box 18 on. You will check the quarter that form belongs to. So every time you file Form 941 and you check that box 18, you need to make sure you check the quarter that specific form you are filing is for. And at the same time, Boss 18 will let IRS know that there is a chance you may not file the following quarter if you didn't have employees. So if none of those exceptions apply and you haven't filed a final return, you must file Form 941 each quarter, even if you didn't pay wages during the quarter. So if you pay no wages or you have no employee, it's a good idea to file Form 941 if you are required to file Form 941. And we can go again to line 18 to see if there is some additional information there that we can add it to it. So line 18, if you are a seasonal employer, if you hire employees seasonally, that's what will qualify you as a seasonal employer. So if you hire employees seasonally, such as a summer or winter only, check the boss on line 18. Checking the boss tells IRS not to expect 4 Form 941 from you throughout the year, because that will be 4 quarters, because you haven't paid wages regularly. Generally, we won't ask about unfiled return if at least one taxable return is filed each year. However, you must check the boss on line 18 on every Form 941 you file. Otherwise, the IRS will expect a return to be filed for each quarter. Also, when you complete Form 941, be sure to check the box on the top on the form that corresponds to the quarter reported, and we just talked about that. Thank you. So now let's see who is eligible to sign Form 941. You'll find that instruction on Form 941 instruction page 14. If your business is a sole proprietor, you, the business owner, needs to sign your Form 941 and date it. If it is a corporation, including an LLC, taxed as a C Corp or an S Corp, the president, the vice president, or other principal officer duly authorized to sign can sign it. Partnership, including an LLC treated as a partnership or unincorporated organization, if that's what your business is, a responsible or duly authorized partner, member, or any officer having knowledge of the business affairs could sign it. If you are a single member LLC treated as a disregarded entity for federal income tax purposes, the owner of the LLC or a principal officer duly authorized to sign can sign it. And we are just going to end it there. But yeah, those are the eligibility related to who can sign Form 941 for your business. So how do you know if you are required to file Form 941? Let's see if we can go to the top to find that information. If you pay wages during a quarter that is subject to Social Security and Medicaid, you are required to file Form 941 for that quarter, and that will be your first Form 941, and then you continue filing it from that point on. So let's see who must file Form 941. File your initial Form 941 for the quarter in which you first paid wages that are subject to Social Security and Medicaid tax, or subject to federal income tax withholding. Then you must file for every quarter after that, every 3 months, even if you have no taxes to report, unless you are a seasonal employer and you are filing your final return. File Form 941 only once for each quarter. If you file electronically, don't file a paper return. So when you first make wages payments in a quarter that is subject to Social Security or Medicaid tax or federal income tax, from that point on, you will file Form 941 for that quarter, and that will be your first Form 941 file, and you will file Form 941 every quarter after that. Just make sure you have a EIN number for that business by that point, because you file Form 941 with EIN. And if you are a seasonal employer, then you will check Boss 18, and you check the quarter that form is for. That way there could be some quarter that you may not file for. But if it is a final return, then you check Boss 17, add an attachment as instructed, and the dates that you last pay wages, and that is a signification of a final return being filed. Other than that, you will file it every quarter from that point that you filed the first one. So do you need to file? Can you file Form 941 with Social Security number? To my understanding, the answer is no. Let me see if I highlight anything about that, but if you do not have a EIN number by the time you are ready to file Form 941, you cannot file it electronically. You will file a paper return. So if you haven't received your EIN by the due date of Form 941, file a paper return and write apply for and the date you apply in this entry space. If you are filing your tax return electronically, a valid EIN is required at the time of the return the return is filed. If a valid EIN isn't provided, the return won't be accepted. Okay, so don't use your Social Security number or I-10 on form that asks for EIN. And Form 941 asks for EIN number, so therefore you will need an EIN. So if you just hired and you start paying wages, you might want to quickly apply for a EIN number, assuming let's say if you are a sole proprietor and your business reach a point that you hired and start paying wages that could be subject to Social Security and Medicaid and federal income tax return. That is the right time to quickly apply for an EIN number for your business if you have not done it by then. That way you have it ready by the time Form 941 will be due, so that you can use it to file the return. And you will use your business EIN as well to file W-2 and W-3 with Social Security Administration at the end of the year as well. So it's good to have an EIN number for your business if it's a requirement. And generally when you have an LLC or an LLC tax as an S corp, chances are you are going to have an EIN number for your business as well. So thank you so much for your time. Now let's see when Form 941 is due. Form 941 for quarter 2 end in June 30th is due by July 31st. Okay, so am I going too fast? Okay. For the first quarter ending in March is due by April 30th. For the second quarter ending in June 30th, it is due by July 31st. For the third quarter ending on September 30th is due by October 31st. And the fourth quarter ending on December 31st is due by January 31st of the following year. There are instances that if you make all the deposit, you can go 10 days into the following month, but I don't really like to work with those gray area, so that I just have one date, that is not changing. That way it's just less things to keep track of as a business owner, especially if you are doing a lot of things by yourself. You might want to try to simplify your processes. So trying to work with gray area is just not something I'm comfortable with. Therefore, I like just to keep with the standard deadline to work with. But again, if you like those exceptions, you can read about it. It can come handy if you miss the deadline as well, to see if you are still within the extended deadline. But yeah, that's that. And that covered how to file Form 941 if no wages were paid in 2024 quarter 2. When you start paying wages and you want a document to track your payroll, if you do not have a software to do that, you can check our free payroll spreadsheet on our website to see if that's something you want to give a try. Thank you so much. Thank you. As a disclaimer, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a CPA. This information is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Use it at your own discretion. Thank you. We thank you very much for watching our videos. We thank you very much for all your comments. We thank you very much, you all that subscribe to our channel. I'm Afiabi Liberman, creator of Liberman Consulting L.L.C YouTube channel and inasoap.com, our blog. On our channel and on our blog, we share different ways you can save money and different ways you can make money to reach your financial independence, where you do not depend on an employer to provide for your family. And when you are a business owner and your business is young and you have some time to file your own business tax return, that's one way to keep your business expenses low. At the same time, you are learning how to gather your business financial data in a way that when it comes to tax time, you will be able to file your tax return accurately, or when you hire somebody to do it for you, you'll be able to give that person the proper document to help them file your tax return for you. And remember, whether you file the return yourself or somebody file it on your behalf, you will sign the final document. Therefore, you acknowledge that what is on the document is accurate to the best of your knowledge. Therefore, you are responsible for the data submitted to the tax authority on your behalf or on the behalf of your business. So either way, the information is your responsibility. So it might be a good idea. So it takes time to file the return yourself, but at the same time, there are some learning that you can draw from it, and one of that is based on the information you need to file the return, you know how to track that information over the month so that when you need it, you'll be able to find it. Thank you.